Welcome to the Make Your Mark podcast. Hey everyone, I'm Mark Moyer, author of Win Again, speaker, career coach, and business advisor. And I help athletes, executives, and entrepreneurs reach their fullest potential. What you're going to be hearing in every single episode are conversations with athletes and other sports-related influencers. And we'll be offering you the insight that you need to succeed in life, including advice that will let you jump past your competition, whether it be for a great new job or taking your business to a much, much higher level. Make sure to connect with me on social media at Mark Moyer Coach and go to my website, markmoyer.com, to get access to the tips and strategies that my coaching clients get directly. If you're looking for ways to make your mark, send me an email to mark@markmoyer.com and I'll get you going right away. Thanks for joining me today. It's going to be an awesome episode. Now, are you ready to make your mark? Let's do this. Welcome to the Make Your Mark podcast. I'm broadcasting from my headquarters here in New York City. Hope all is great in your neck of the woods, whether it's here in the United States or in Canada, Mexico, anywhere else between Antarctica and the Arctic Circle, Albania to Zimbabwe. I think I got all the countries covered there. Not all the planets yet. My name is Mark Moyer, and I'm recording this short podcast just to give a quick introduction to why I'm doing this podcast, who my guests are going to be, and a little bit about me. After I graduated college, I graduated Colgate University a few years ago. And oh, by the way, I'm 39 and a half years old, with that half being probably a fair amount of years. And after I graduated college, I did what a lot of people do. I sort of struggled to really figure out what I wanted to do. What was my identity? What was I going to do next? I had played some sports in college, but I'd also studied to be, an investment banker. I studied to do a lot of things, but I didn't study to be in sales. That's for dang sure. And I didn't study to, do some other things I ended up doing, but I ended up in those industries and jobs. After I graduated, I ended up driving out to California. I spent a year out there. I partied a fair amount. I had a great time. I worked as a waiter at Olive Garden. I mean, I did some pretty fun stuff. But after a year or so, I realized, Jesus, I can't stay here too much longer. This is just not working out. And I came back to New York, but that coincided with the stock crash. And so my dreams of working in a bank, that wasn't going to happen. So I was living with a bunch of friends of mine, actually guys I went to college with, and one day the phone rang, and they were looking for somebody named Tom. This guy Tom didn't live there anymore. And so this woman asked me, she said, well, look, I have an interview for this guy. I don't know where he is. So she asked me, well, where'd you go to school? I said, Colgate. And she said, well, that's a good school. Have you ever thought about sales? And I kind of, I shook my head, but I said yes. So I ended up going on this interview and I got the job. And my first job was selling photocopiers door to door. Hey, need a copier? Slam. And it was a pretty tough gig. And after that, I got into selling advertising for a magazine, selling advertising for another magazine, and I completely stumbled into executive recruiting. And as I started doing that, I realized, wow, this is a pretty fun job, and I'm helping people get jobs. That's great. And I'm making some pretty good money. That's great. But the problem was, the whole recruiting industry can be a little bit heartless. It can be a little bit, most recruiters are really chasing the fees, and they're not really worried too much about the individual itself. And I was spending a lot of time coaching people, coaching them on how to interview, how to market themselves, how to improve their resume, a lot of stuff that involved getting a new job. Well, back when the recession hit and nobody was hiring back then, I decided to really transfer a lot of my energy into coaching people individually. And I started my coaching practice then. And since that time, I've been coaching professionals, executives, and athletes into really what to do next. And most importantly, doing something that you love, something that you wake up every morning excited to do. And that, to me, is what makes working worthwhile, right? There's no sense in doing a job that you're miserable in. And I'm a firm believer of that. So my practice has been really showing people how to break out of that stagnant, miserable kind of state of being in a job you don't like and into a job you love doing. At the same time, I've been helping people that have started their own businesses, entrepreneurs, and showing them how to really take their business to a whole new level. Maybe giving them ideas on how to shift their messaging so that they get more and more customers, more visibility in the marketplace. That's what that's all about. Or how to simply change their messaging to attract maybe the same customers, but to have them buy more and be more involved. It's all about engaging with your audience, with your customers, with your clients, and with your coworkers and with your bosses, etc. Right? Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. I love doing what I do. It gets me fired up every day and every morning to wake up and help people out. And what I wanted to do with this podcast is really shine a light on people that are making a positive impact out there, people that are changing the world, they're changing society, they're improving the people around them, they're raising everybody up, they're raising money for organizations that do great things. These are all guests that have made and are continuing to make their mark on society. So what you're going to be hearing about in every episode, conversations with either athletes or people that are tied into the sports industry in one way or the other, that are turning that competitive spirit and turning it into good. I'm really excited to be sharing this podcast with you. I think you're going to love every single episode. Please make sure that when you listen to these episodes, leave me a review. I would love to hear from you. Send me emails. I'd love to hear from you directly. You can send those to mark@markmoyer.com. And you know what? Show me how you can make your mark. I'd love to hear from you. Happy listening. Thanks so much for joining us today on this episode of Make Your Mark Podcast. The goal of the podcast is to help you find ways to make your mark, to succeed in life, and to jump past your competition. Be sure to leave me a review on iTunes and Stitcher, and subscribe to be the first to hear new episodes. If you're looking for ways to make your mark, send me an email, mark@markmoyer.com, and I'll get back to you right away. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.